Hi, my name's Charmaine. I'm part of the marketing team here at Lifeboat Lettings. And today we're joined by one of our directors, Rick Walton. We're really fortunate to have such a dynamic team with really hard-working directors who are committed to helping the business and supporting the team to do the best job that we can possibly do. Since lockdown and over the past few weeks, Rick has contributed to the business in a slightly different way that's not his usual day-to-day. That said, he has completely nailed it and he's learned how to adapt really, really quickly. So I've managed to grab 10 minutes of his time today so that he can give us a quick insight as to the way he's been working lately. So Rick, tell us what your role usually entails for Lifeboat Lettings. What sort of things are you usually involved in each day?
Yeah, sure. So I'm one of the 3 directors at Lifeboat Lettings. Got 2 business partners, Richard, who takes more of a strategic role within the agency. So he looks at the business growth and development and stuff like that. Alex, the other director, who happens to be my brother-in-law as well. So very much a sort of family feel to what we do. He is more front of house and organises more of the day-to-day operational stuff within the lettings agency. I'm much more behind the scenes, so you don't tend to see me so much, but that doesn't mean I'm not there and not present. So I get involved in a lot more of the sort of processes and systems on how they actually happen using the technology and stuff like that. But I also get involved in some of the more technical stuff, so how to set up for example, houses in multiple occupation, HMOs, shared houses, that kind of thing. Advising landlords on new projects that they may be taking on, but also for things when they don't go quite right. So changes such as lockdown and COVID-19 when that all came in, but also, if we're having trouble with maintenance on a property, or if a tenant is having issues with neighbours or something like that, or something that's not quite running smoothly, that's when I tend to get more involved on the technical side of things.
Great. And how much of a shock to the system was the COVID-19 lockdown?
Well, I guess like a lot of people, there was a heck of a lot of new information to have to take on board when lockdown kicked in. So March the 24th, whenever it was, it seems like a long time ago now. There was a lot of information to take in, and one of my major roles at the start of this was making sure that the business could adapt and keep up. So I was watching very closely everything that Boris Johnson was saying, love him or hate him, that's irrelevant. He was the one that was guiding the ship and trying to give us the information we needed. And that was for 2 reasons. One, selfishly for my own family and my own needs, to find out how it was going to impact me as a family and an individual, but also because we look after so many landlords and tenants in their properties who all have jobs and workplaces and all the rest of it. We needed to process a lot of information so that we could give them the best advice and make sure they were looked after as well and felt supported. And that was something that was really key to me, to make sure that we made sure the tenants were looked after, but then also staff such as yourself and other team members had the tools that they needed to be able to change and adapt with the rapidly changing marketplace as well. So it has been quite a change, but obviously working from home, I'm here in the home office now, had to change things, but thankfully it wasn't too bad because we realised that we'd set up the business to be able to adapt and work from home quite quickly. So one of the things that we realised was we'd set the business up to be quite digitally based. So even when we had to move, work computers and stuff like that, it worked fairly seamlessly and wasn't too much of an upheaval for us. But also the telephone lines, it was very easy to direct those to the relevant member of staff fairly quickly. So as far as possible, it was kind of business as usual. And hopefully that's what our tenants and landlords saw. The only bit that we really had to change, as everyone has had to do, is the close proximity to people. So viewings and going out to see new properties and stuff like that was very restricted. That was the only big difference we had to face.
And so Rick, how much of a shock to the system was the COVID-19 lockdown? And what have you been doing during this time to keep yourself busy?
A good question. Like many people, Joe Wicks has featured in our life on occasions, baking, lots of gardening, DIY stuff around the house, getting the house tidied up, the things we've been meaning to do. We've had a bit more time on our hands to be able to do some of those tidying up jobs, which has been good. The house looks nice and tidy and neat now, which is good. But from a business point of view, it's also allowed me to take a little bit of time out from what is normally a very busy time to actually focus on some new ideas, new projects and stuff like that. So one of the things that I've really sort of got to grips with is video and editing, and using this within the business. So we're now using that as a positive tool to be able to show our properties, even though we can't physically go to the properties. Maybe we can still put videos online so prospective tenants and landlords can market their property and see the properties, so we can still keep things moving along nonetheless.
You've really embraced the digital technology.
Thank you.
But not everybody can and wants to do this kind of thing. So what kind of message would you want to send out to somebody who was perhaps thinking about giving it a go?
I think just give it a shot. Don't try and be too professional, too perfect. I'm still learning and I'm not sure which camera I'm supposed to be looking at now. But, you know, just give it a go. Your first video that you do won't be perfect. It won't be spot on. It doesn't have to be. That's the message I want to get across. It's better than not having anything at all. So if you can't be found in this moment in time, if you're a letting agency, you should be doing virtual viewings of some kind so that your tenants can still communicate with you and still see the properties. So if nothing else, if you can't do viewings right now, when we can and the lockdown is lifted, we hit the ground running, so we've got the best chance of finding new tenants to fill those empty properties and what have you. In the meantime, whatever your business, just grab what you've got available to you. So we're using a combination of Macs, Apple Mac computers, and also iPhones and stuff like that. But just use whatever you've got to the best quality you've got. So you might need to upgrade your microphone to a simple lapel mic or something like that to record the sound a bit better. But you don't need expensive kit, is what I want to get across, just to get started. But yeah, just have fun with it, play with it. I think one of the things that has helped me is I was used to doing sort of PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that. So I've learned Keynotes on the Apple Mac, and that's allowed me to put graphics and slides and what have you onto the videos as well quite quickly. But if that's not your bag, don't do that. Just do one single shot walking around a property, a little bit of audio over the top of it describing the property, and that will be sufficient for a lot of people. So just keep it simple sometimes.
Excellent tips there. So life after lockdown, what does it look like? What's the new normal? Can you tell us what that's going to be like for yourself and perhaps for the business too?
Don't know the full outcome of what it's going to look like, but what I can do is talk about what I can control, and it's really given me the opportunity to reflect on how we run our business, and it's made me realise more so than ever that I'm actually using less hours to do more now. And what I mean by that is I've got less distractions. So my home setup is very good in the sense that I can kind of lock myself away in our purpose-built office. I can get on with my workload and get it done. Whereas in the office environment, there'll be calls coming in, people walking into the office, and that interrupts me slightly from my way of working. My business partners might thrive on that and my team members might thrive on that. But for me personally, I get distracted by that a little bit. So bizarrely, lockdown has been a good influence for me because it's allowed me to lock myself away and think clearly and get on with the work that we've got in front of us and be more productive, if anything. But I think also what it's done is that it's really highlighted that the things that we may have been thinking of doing in the next 5-10 years, it's just accelerated that process really, really rapidly. So things that we were thinking of doing, we are doing. We've brought it so much more forward now so that, like video viewings and stuff like that, we've been talking about doing that for a while, but now we have to, out of necessity. And we've all agreed that that's something that we were going to continue to do for virtually every property if we can, because it makes sense. It just helps with the marketing and makes it much quicker and easier to display properties. So if you can take any positives out of lockdown, it's, adopting and embracing technology as much as possible, using it to your advantage wherever possible. And I think that's going to be scary for some people because they're not that way inclined. But thankfully for us and our business, and me included in that, we've embraced it and we welcome the challenge. Obviously, we want to get back to some kind of normal sometime soon. But for now, we keep learning, we keep adapting and keep moving forward. We're very much open for business, and that's the message that we want to get across. Great stuff.
Thanks for your time today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Do you want to say goodbye?
I'll say, yeah, thank you very much, and hope to speak to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.